I thought I would start with some brief definitions on what is traditional medicine. And this is from the WHO Global Traditional Medicine Strategy that was just adopted by all member states in May this year. And you will see that there are some key elements that define what is traditional medicine. It relates to codified or non-codified systems for healthcare, and they are systems of practices, skills, knowledge, and philosophies. They originate in different cultural, historical contexts, and they predate biomedicine, which emerged in the 16th to 18th century. And some of these traditions predate that. They have continued to evolve with science and are currently in use, and going from scientific based on an experience-based origin. And it emphasizes nature-based remedies that are holistic, that are personalized, and aim to restore the balance of mind, body, and environment. So this is a comprehensive definition on what is traditional medicine. Complementary medicine are systems of medicine that are additional to the mainstream healthcare system in any country. And integrative medicine tries to merge or have a combination of these approaches. I will just give a brief snapshot of some key global trends on traditional medicine, and maybe just highlighting 2 or 3 statistics for you. One, of course, is that, as the honorable secretaries have mentioned, billions of people around the world use traditional medicine. And as Honorable Secretary Kotecha mentioned, it's not a sector, it's a heritage, it's a resource that all of us have inherited and are custodians for. So I'm sure everyone in this room has a practice that you do. Maybe it's meditation, maybe it's a recipe from your grandmother's of some soup when you're not feeling well. Maybe it's a practitioner who helps on Ayurveda or traditional Chinese medicine. And this is the collective knowledge we have all inherited and the collective biodiversity resources. And it's not just in India or China. Recently, there were population-based surveys in Germany and in Ghana showing that over 70% of the population uses some form of traditional or complementary medicine. So this point is really about that this is a global use and billions of people use this. I do also want to talk about the fact that industry or the economic sectors have recognized this. And right now, there are trillion-dollar industries that are associated with traditional medicine. Some examples: the global wellness industry is now estimated at or valued at $6 trillion, and by 2028, $9 trillion globally. We have pharma, we have the bioeconomy at $7 trillion. So these are some of the rapid growth, biggest sectors that are associated with the growing public demand for the use of traditional medicine. However, what is missing to allow traditional medicine to scale is in fact what all of your leadership is here, not only the leadership within your countries, but to create this global ecosystem that enables research at scale, that enables regulatory standards, that shape markets, that enable equitable benefits and access to the benefits as well. And we're at a very exciting moment in time because the science, artificial intelligence, genomics, diagnostic technologies allow us to understand traditional medicine, to bridge the ancient knowledge with modern science in a way that has not been possible before. And so this is a moment to bring together the history and the future with what we do currently. However, having said all of that, WHO just launched the thematic issue in the WHO Bulletin just this month that is dedicated to traditional medicine. And one of the analyses is that of the global health research funding, less than 1% goes to traditional medicine. So you can see the huge imbalance and the need to scale up. So the Global Summit aims, in fact, to advance this global movement, to recognize and celebrate country leadership, and to foster a different multilateralism, one that restores balance for people, communities, and the planet. And we will showcase some of the key scientific innovations, advances, tools, and practices that each one of us can take away, but also at the global scientific and policy level. One that restores balance. So the Global Summit has two main sections. One is a scientific technical program where we have experts from all of your countries around the world. And we also have what we're calling a discovery experience. And I'll talk a little bit more about both of these. With the technical program, we have some major launches. One, as I've talked about, is on the investment landscape. The second is what Honorable Prime Minister and heads of state had requested at the BRICS and the G20, which is the Traditional Medicine Global Library, which currently has over 1.5 million scientific publications, as well as pages for every country. And this is going to grow, and this is to be supported, and this would be protected also with intellectual property frameworks to enable scaling, but with access and benefits. We would also have integrated systems, frameworks, and the global research priorities that would direct investments. Sorry, this is a snapshot, and not for you to read unless you have very, very good eyesight. But the agenda will be on the summit website, and we will provide the link. But just to say that broadly, on day one, we will start with a plenary on the theme of restoring balance. And there are technical sessions with plenaries and that set the stage. And then on investment, on integration, on research, on collaboration, and then more detailed parallel sessions that are the more technical parts. We would have a high-level ministerial roundtable on the 19th. That's the third day, which would be followed by a high-level closing ceremony where the leadership from all countries will be showcased, and this will be presided over by the Honorable Prime Minister. On the 19th, that's the third day. This is a little snapshot about the interactive, immersive discovery experience. It's a walk-through journey, and the space will be constructed like this. You'll see this design also on the lovely, impressive banners, which is this pattern of nature that science has interpreted as the Fibonacci curve. So if you see that pattern, that's the blending of science and nature. And there will be a special feature from the Government of India welcoming all countries with the Ayush Digital Innovation Exhibit as well. And there are these 4 zones that everyone will walk through on understanding what balance means in different traditional medicine systems, on restoring balance, where there'll actually be hands-on practical labs, where on the science of meditation, on pharmaceuticals from nature and other labs, on sustaining balance, on how the global strategy gives us tools to sustain this momentum in policy, in practice, in products, but ultimately for people and the planet, and then the convergence zone on how it all comes together. And this really is where we count on your leadership, Excellencies, which is in this moment where member states have adopted the global strategy on traditional medicine, to showcase what does country leadership look like in this field. And we're talking about different areas. Traditional medicine has to count. So what are the investments? We heard one global strategy statistic on less than 1% of the research investment going there. But what do countries invest in traditional medicine sector. Is there a national ministry, or is it organized in a different way? What are the regulatory frameworks, the integration, the multi-stakeholder collaboration, as I mentioned, on intellectual property, on biodiversity preservation, on knowledge exchange, and importantly, beyond what each individual country or nation does, what are the commitments to multilateralism, a different multilateralism that focuses on equity, on inclusiveness, on sustainability, recognizing that each country has this unique, valuable heritage, but also what is the global enabling ecosystem that would enable us to take these benefits to scale. Over here is just a snapshot of some of the outreach to all of the countries. WHO from headquarters sent what's called a circular letter to all the missions in Geneva, and then who would have contacted the capitals. All of our WHO regional offices and our officer in charge of regional director of CRO can tell us more about that as well. We have a dedicated summit portal where we hope to have also, in addition to those who will be in Delhi, a space for online participation as well. And WHO has a new event management system, so everybody will get on nominations a direct invitation for visa and travel and other arrangements. Currently, and this event is part of this, is reaching out to all the missions for support in showcasing country leadership and commitments and engagement in the ministerial roundtable. And we hope by the end of November we'll also have all the travel and hotel arrangements done. And then we look forward to seeing all of you at the summit and moving forward on this global agenda. And thank you very much for your leadership. You will see that there is the summit website, a summit email that you can contact at any point. And once again, thank you very much.